All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting of October 9th, 2025. First on the agenda is 100 Bucks Hollow Road self-storage. Mike, I believe you had some comments?
I did, but my computer's not working. Can you?
We'll go to Richard.
Sorry.
Here's your memo from Pat.
No, this is the last one. This is the old one. Thank you. I inspected the subject property and it looks much better than it ever has. Very neat and organized. The applicant provided a detail of all the tenants that are there for the parking calculation. Variance was required for lot coverage, and that was the only variance left.
Thank you. Rich?
So the applicant has noted all the referrals, the need for permits, the SWIP, which is currently under review, which was provided. You know, they are going to include the information they needed in the stormwater pollution prevention plan. They noted the fact for public improvements and bonds and engineering fees. They've addressed all the detailed comments that I had.
Thank you. Pat?
And Mr. Chairman, they have addressed all those operational issues that we talked about at the last meeting, how the facility would be used, who would be using it. As you see before, you have new renderings of the project. And there was one minor issue, Adam, the landscaping plan and the schedule on the drawings don't match up, so you need to correct that.
I think we had a typo there, but yeah, we'll fix that.
Okay. Other than that, this does need to go to the zoning board for the variances and the use variance, so you need to deal with the seeker component of this prior to referring it to the zoning board.
Any other comments from the board? I know this has been in front of us for a while. Any new comments?
Thank you for the rendering.
Yeah, the rendering helps. We need a motion to deny to the ZBA.
But now we're going to go to seeker.
we say
We're
we're
going to do seeker before.
Can we do seeker in parallel to deny it, to send it to the ZBA?
Yeah, but the ZBA can't act. So you could send them, but you have to adopt the neg deck at your next meeting. So they theoretically could get on the following zoning board meeting.
Yeah.
The timing works out okay.
Okay.
So you could do the referral also.
Yeah, it can work as long as they do. Everybody does what they're supposed to.
So could we have a neg deck drafted for the meeting on the 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd like to do that. We like to do things in parallel if we can. Move things along a little bit. We've seen this
Okay.
several times, and you've made some nice improvements. So.
All right. And I'll coordinate with Dawn and Mike, and we'll tee that up.
Great.
So I'll make a motion to deny the applicant to the ZBA.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next is Degas Perry, 112 Bucks Hollow Road. Mike, comments, please?
The lot width and depth lines are now provided and correct, and there are 6 variances required from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Lot area, lot width, driveway width, side yard for the garage, and rear yard.
Rich?
Oh, and the use variance, I'm sorry. And the use variance for the mixed use.
Okay, Rich?
So the applicant has addressed all the comments with exception of details for stabilized construction entrance, identifying if there's going to be grading on the site. I think it can be denied to the zoning board at this point in time. I think that's what needs to be done next. The applicant's representative also provided some drawings on Tuesday, or the applicant brought them in on Tuesday, and there were some changes to the site. Nobody's had a chance to look at them because they came in pretty late. So I don't think it was anything major. I think they were going from asphalt to pavers. But again, without reviewing it, we don't know all those answers. But again, I think for the use variance, it can go to the zoning board.
Maybe Jack should expand on that.
And there were no site planning issues with this, Mr. Chairman, but our new zoning has placed this in the CB zone. That's why they need the use variance. So you can make that referral tonight. Same thing, we'd have to deal with seeker as well.
No, I was just curious, based on Rich's comments, Jack, what other changes were made to the plans?
Just the pavers instead of asphalt, and this plan, I missed the deadline, but I tried to resubmit, but this plan shows the pavers, it also shows the lighting.
Lot width. The lot width and depth
All
that we're
stuff
asked,
is
yep.
already on there, though.
The only thing is, did you change the pavers in the front where it was gravel?
No, the pavers are in the new part of the driveway.
Not the front part by Bucks
Oh, no,
Hollow?
we're not touching that. In the
Okay.
back,
I didn't see it, so I just got back from vacation.
okay, me too.
Are we okay with the driveway? We discussed the driveway at the last time, 2 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. It was fairly narrow, but
Needs
is
a
a
variance.
residential. Oh,
It needs a variance.
it does.
Yeah, that's one of the variances.
Yeah, but operationally, we discussed this with Jack at the last meeting. It's narrow, but if it is operated the way the applicant has indicated it operates, it's a family-run business, and it's not 15 employees that are using that driveway. It's probably okay, but they do need the variance for it. But it doesn't appear to be a unsafe condition or a fire hazard or anything of the sort.
Jack, can we see the rendering that you have there? I can't see it from. the
What's
way-
that?
The rendering?
I saw these last time, but maybe they weren't as pretty.
Yeah, those here last time.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was anything new. Jack, as we asked all applicants, including the previous applicant, what about some curb appeal? I know it's in an industrial area, but we would like people that drive by there tomorrow to say, oh, that looks nice, as compared to yesterday. All applicants that come here should leave looking better than what they were when they came here.
Okay, we can make
It
that,
might be window boxes, it might be plantings, it might be painting, I'm not sure, but we should do something to that site.
along the front. Sure, we can do that with the next, after we go to the zoning board.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. We have a motion to deny?
I'll make a motion to deny to the zoning board.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, Greenpoint Tree Service, 61 and 65 Old Route 6, site plan. Mike?
Yeah, this one is, they're merging two lots from the Merriweather Estate subdivision. That was many, many years ago, and trying to make one site plan on here. There are variances required for lot area, front yard. That's it.
And Rich?
So this is Greenpoint Tree Service. They have provided, they've all the referrals, all the permits, all that type of standard information they've noted, and they're going to be addressing it with regards to stormwater maintenance agreement, engineering, and planning board fees. There are some detailed comments that they've noted. They said a lighting plan was provided on drawing 140, it wasn't there. So it just, again, it's just minor, more editorial things, so, but the applicant has essentially noted and are addressing all the comments.
Thank you. Pat?
So this was last before you quite a few months ago, and the issue we wrestled with on this application was it's an industrial storage building. We had thought, it would be a better plan if the parking were in the back, the garage doors were in the back. This is a unique site because the back of the site is a rock wall, basically. So in order to do that, it would have required fairly extensive grading and site disturbances. So given that, Paul has come back with various options to not do that. And the current plan does put that parking in the front yard. But now, this current version has relatively extensive landscaping that's associated with it. So their stormwater is in that rain garden, that depressed area that you can see in green, which eliminates the opportunity to put planting there. However, he's planting behind it, adjacent to the parking area, and he's also proposing planting within the New York State DOT right-of-way, which, again, would be terrific. He needs the DOT to sign off on that. But that would provide, with those two areas, a good deal of screening for that building from the street. So it's about the best we'll get done there. And if we were to push it back into the hill, it would create a far more impactful development. So this is about as good as we're going to get on this one.
Didn't we also talk, I know this has been a while ago, but didn't we also talk about, are you going to have piles of wood out front of your facility and the operation? So, Paul, take us through in a minute or two, take us through the operation that's going to be happening there.
The operation is that the owners are going to be renting out a unit. So a contractor would rent that unit. He would keep his equipment, his machinery, whatever he has inside the building. There is no place, in essence, to be able to store anything out in front of the building because you've got your truck movements to get in and out of the garage, and then you've got your parking spaces. So there is no space. There's not going to be any wood or anything stored on site. Their motive here is to have a very clean operation. They don't want somebody to come in, rent a space, and create a mess. That's not what they want. So the way we set it up, having the cisterns out in front that chew up a lot of space to also deal with stormwater, that takes away that whole idea of being able to store things out in front. Because other than that, you got your 24-foot wide corridor to drive in and drive out, and then you got your parking spaces.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions from the board?
What color will the buildings be facing the street?
Excuse me?
What color will the buildings be facing the street?
There will be a wood facade around the garage door that wraps around the actual entrance to the building. That'll be a light tannish brown color, and then the actual sheet metal work of the building that's in between that would be a dark gray.
What color?
So that's the most recent rendering that we've come up with.
And those are planter boxes in between them?
Yes. Yeah, so what you have is your runoff from the roof goes through those planter boxes, and that's where you get your first stormwater treatment taking place.
There's lighting above each of those garages, or they're on the side?
There'll be lighting above the garage door and at the entrance door, but it's going to be a downward facing light, so you're just lighting up your immediate space right in front of you.
So in terms, okay, go ahead.
How tall is the building? Will this be visible from the bike path behind it, or is the hill just high enough that you'll see straight over top
Well,
of it?
the bike path is up above, so actually if you're on the bike path, you're looking down, you
see straight
you would-
over it.
You see straight over it, but if you went to the property line or whatever, you'd be looking at the roof and then down onto Route 6 and into Putt Plaza and all that other stuff.
How big is that drop on the, from the bike path? Do we need a fence up there? I guess is kind of why I'm asking.
I think there's a fence there.
You need the microphone, Paul.
It's not a shear cut, it's an angle, correct?
Bike path is at about elevation 430. My finished floor elevation is at 362. So there's a 70-foot
70.
difference between the two.
But it's not a straight drop that we have to worry about somebody.
No. Oh, no. There's space in between the bike path before you get to the property line. It's level. There's a drainage swale that's in there that was put in when the bike path was created.
So in terms of visibility from the street, are those the best colors to hide visibility through the landscaping that you're doing?
These are the colors that the applicants like.
Are you going to come back with more detailed renderings so we can get a better understanding? Of
Yes,
what's
we
going
can.
I mean, I think that
We
that's
can
something-
work on this.
Yeah.
We don't have an issue with fine tuning it. And we need to go to the zoning board, so there's time to, work some of this stuff through.
Yeah, but I mean, we definitely want to have a little bit of, we want to be able to see with the finished product and have some input into its,
Okay.
the curb appeal.
What's the width of the building?
300 feet, I think, plus or minus. And it's like, we reduced it to like 67 feet deep.
And reason I ask, and this is just my opinion, when you brought up the rendering, that's a lot of just straight continuous roof with no character, no breakup, a cupola here or there or something. I just think it's a lot of roof that's going to be visible, and there's, some that aesthetically could be made to
Okay.
look a little better. So I'd like you to consider that.
Okay. I will do that.
I mean, if the board doesn't share my thoughts, but it's just my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
It goes to the previous discussion about some curb appeal. A lot of traffic goes through there, although it's an industrial area, but nonetheless, it should look nice. Okay, let's schedule a public hearing in parallel. You can,
Actually, I need to go to the zoning board.
Yeah, zoning.
oh, you have zoning.
Did we do seeker?
All of you gotta get closer to the mic.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make a motion to deny the applicant to the zoning board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Those changes.
And, yeah, we'll work on that in the interim, because there's going to be a clock
Yeah.
time.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Next on the agenda is Bonnier subdivision, 103 Pidgeot Road. Sketch plan, 2 lots. Mike, I think you had some comments on this.
I do. They need 3 variances on lot 1 and 2 variances on lot 2. They're for lot area, lot width, and front yard, and lot 2 is lot area and lot width. These are the 2 lots that are undersized for the zoning district.
Thank you. Rich?
So the project encompasses subdivision of a 1.89 acre parcel into 2 lots, about 0.95 and 0.94 acres respectively. This is at the intersection of McLaughlin and Piggott. They will need to go to the New York State DEC, Putnam County DOH, and Public Works, New York City DEP, Town of Carmel Highway, ECB, Mahopac, and Carmel Fire Departments. They will need to develop a stormwater pollution prevention plan, and they may need to develop one for the New York City DEP, depending on what's going on. It does not indicate any indication of areas being proposed reserved for open space as part of a subdivision. They will need to provide an EAF for the subdivision that wasn't provided in my package. And they need to possibly provide a stormwater bond, maintenance guarantees, performance bond, engineering fees, and they will need to then move forward with that, with their part of their preliminary plat, all the information as required as part of our town code.
Thanks, Rich. Pat?
And this is another application, Mr. Chairman, where the zoning has changed, so the original nonconformities that were in the prior application, they're different nonconformities now, but it still has to make that trip to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Just to follow up on Rich, there's grading on Lot 2, so we need to know the amount of cut and fill, so details on the grading, Paul. That EAF clarifying the environmental conditions on the site are necessary. And I think we needed to see more stormwater management details on the plans as well. So this is still at the initial sketch plan stage, so they need to buff up the plan a little bit.
Questions from the board? I'm not sure it's ready for the ZBA yet.
I think one more
Yeah,
turn
I'm
of the-
not, I think you gotta clean it up a little bit, do another turn of the crank, if you will.
I could do that.
Yeah. Okay, why don't we do that, and then we'll see you back in 2 weeks.
Okay,
Thanks, Paul.
thank you very much.
There are 5 or so seats in the front row here, if anyone needs a seat.
We have chairs here, too.
Next on the agenda for a public hearing is People USA Stabilization Center, 1071 Stoneleigh Avenue. Public hearing? Does anyone from the public wish to be heard on this? Mike, did you have any comments?
I do not.
Okay. Rich?
No, this is on for public hearing.
Would you like any presentation from the applicant before you open it to members of the public, or do you proceed immediately to?
You can give us an overview.
Okay.
You can give us an overview. I think the board here knows it pretty well by now, but that'd be good. Thank you.
All right. Hello. Okay, the Stabilization Center.
Please state your name.
I'm sorry, Steve Michio. I'm the CEO of People USA. The Stabilization Center is, the best way to describe it is a 24-hour walk-in urgent care for mental health and substance use. And it is a facility that people would come to, walk in 24/7, voluntarily having issues with either mental health or with substance use, and wanting to seek help. So when they come in, they'd be provided an assessment. We would get to know what it is they're looking for, and within those 24 hours that they can be with us, they would be put into a service in the community or outside the community, whether it was a rehab or a detox or mental health service within those 24 hours. So it's an urgent service delivery for the community so that they don't have to go to a hospital, wait in the emergency room for hours, come out, get discharged, but not have a real good plan to see the help that they need right away. We turn that around with our experience, and people get the help they need within those 24 hours. So it addresses a big gap in the mental health and substance use system that gets people into the help that they need immediately. And that's basically what it is. It's several rooms. It serves across the lifespan. We have as young as 3 have come to our center, and across the into the 80s or whatever. And we have, what's nice about in Putnam, we also operate the mobile crisis team that is accessible to the community as well. So it's a nice continuum and a nice partnership, within our organization to get people to the center or out of the center into whatever services they need. So we're trying to build a better continuum of care for the community.
What do you anticipate the staffing to be? I know it depends on how busy you are.
Yeah,
What do you anticipate to be?
we have always on duty is a nursing staff, a peer specialist, a clinician, a CASAC, which is a substance use specialist counselor. That would be the absolute minimum, and then the maximum would include case management, other peer services that are there. The mobile team can work out of there, as well as care coordination.
Will there be security on site?
Yes.
In what form? Is it?
Security company.
Security company.
Yeah.
Now, most of these people drive themselves, or
Yeah.
they come by ambulance?
They can come, well, ambulance can't bring them yet. There's a New York State law that doesn't allow that yet, but it is in process. But they can be brought in by a police officer, they can come in by family members, they can walk in, they can drive themselves in. My mobile team can bring them.
And this is not an overnight facility, right? It's
It's
come in
a
and they-
23-hour, 59 minutes. So if you got there at 9 p.m., there are no services generally open, so they might stay with us overnight, and then we'd get them into services in the morning. There's no sleeping, no, there's no beds. We have lounge chairs, you know, it's not a place to come and hang out.
Okay, since this is a public hearing, anyone from the public wish to be heard on this applicant? First row, we're gonna go by the first row, we'll go around. First row, please, there's a sign-in sheet there that you can, please state your name and also write it down, if you will.
My name is Brian Watchin. I live in Putnam Valley. I used to live in Carmel and also Mahopac, and recently I lived in Brewster. And I am a receiver, I suppose, of services. I am schizophrenic or schizoaffective, it depends on who you ask. I have a Class A misdemeanor assault charge on me that I received. I was charged with and then found guilty of when I was brought into Putnam Hospital in 2014 after basically going, I guess I don't know the word to say it other than deep psychosis and mania and such. I had not been taking my medication. I don't really remember why. I was in crisis for, I would say, months because of the medication issue, not receiving services in a timely manner. I was going to Cove Center or Putnam Family Community Services at the time. That's what it was called. But my my treatment wasn't, I guess it just wasn't on my problems. So I spiraled and then eventually ended up in the hospital, and that's where I, in a psychosis, fought with the security there, and then ended up in the 4 Reed, which is upstairs in Putnam Hospital, as you may know. But anyway, my point is that Putnam County, at the time, and I would say to this day, is grossly inadequate in its dealing with people with mental illness and drug addiction. And the need for a crisis stabilization center is paramount for various reasons. I mean, I worked in the Brewster Acme for the last 2 years, and there I've witnessed people, alcoholics come in, buy alcohol on a regular basis, the lottery. I've lived in Brewster, which is among many people with mental illness. To the Cope Center, I've been going to their programs, PROS program, and then their clinic for many, many, many years. There is a deep need for care in a timely manner that is open and available to the broad public. It's not just people who have, like with me, who have schizophrenia or whatever. I mean, everywhere I go, when I go to services, there's also a need for first responders, because obviously, I mean, in Brewster, last year, I think it was like hundreds of car accidents, and many of them are, I would imagine, brutal to look at. and they take their toll on people after a while. There's numerous drugs available in the community, despite whatever the laws against it. Everything from alcohol, obviously I mentioned that, to from cocaine to obviously the heroin issue we had, well, we still have, and then also just the medications people take for whatever mental illness or drug addiction. They are themselves very dangerous, and if abused or taken incorrectly, or if you lose health insurance and you run out of them, that's kind of what happened to me in 2014. The insurance issue and costs, and just me not having the issues I had addressed by my providers. So you can spiral out of control very quickly and stay that way. And like I can tell you from my personal experience, you lose it and you fall through not even a crack, like a gap, because there is no, I mean, you could go to the hospital and you might stay in that emergency room for days. It's not adequate. Cove Center can't handle emergencies. You call up Cove Center with an emergency, the first thing you hear is hang up and dial 911. You can't go there for emergencies. Or crises, or whatever you want to call it. So, I don't know, I don't want to rant on, but there is a distinct need for a center where people can go and in a stepped manner. I think it's, the most important part is that it's triaged. So ultimately, if you have a real crisis, you're going to go to the hospital, and that's down the street. But you really need to have a step system so people don't end up in the emergency room for days, and then into to the upstairs. It has to be triaged. You know, it has to be efficient and to be cost effective, and that's not what's happening in Putnam County, or I'd say even New York in general, but that's another issue entirely. You really need to have an organized and disciplined response, and a place to go, especially for crises. I mean, I don't know how we define emergency and then crises and then somewhat crises, but that's what, to me, this stabilization center means, is that you're going to go there, you're going to go to your treatment providers. If that doesn't work, then you can go to the crisis stabilization center, and then move on if you have to, or stabilize it and then be referred back to some sort of other program.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Anyone else? Anybody else in the first row? Gentleman standing, please go ahead. Please write your address and name and address and state your name.
My name's John Burgess. You may know me as the Putnam County Coroner. I'm addressing you today not as that job, but as the previous program coordinator for the Joseph P. Dwyer Vet-to-Vet program in Putnam County, as well as First Line. When I ran the program, the biggest difficulty that we had is that nothing good happens at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then when we get a call for somebody that's in crisis, there was no place for them to go. The best that I could do was to rent a motel room in the Bel Air until we were able to get them help the next day, the next morning, or the next afternoon, depending on what the circumstances were. These were people that were living in their cars. These are people that were living in the woods. These are people that have just been released from jail. These are the people that this is designed for, 24 hours a day. Almost every person in this room, their life goal is to help other people. And that's what this center will do. And I am not one of the individuals that'll say, well, you know, it's going to be someplace. I've lived in Carmel for 35 years. I want it to be in Carmel, and I want it to be here. And we need this here. And I hope that you will find the wherewithal to get this done.
Thank you. Thank you.
slow.
Good evening. My name is Megan Castellano, and I'm the current director of the Joseph P. Dwyer Vet to Vet program at Putnam County, which is administered by Guardian Revival, and we're a nonprofit that provides emotional and physical wellness for guardians who are first responders and veterans and active duty military. I'm also a resident of the town of Carmel from 1993 to 2021. I lived in Red Oak Ridge for all of that time and loved it there, and just as a result of divorce, needed to move to Kent, which is where I live now. But my comments tonight are based on my work for the 25 years as executive director of the Mental Health Association here in Putnam County and 10 years with the Vet to Vet program. For those of you here in support of the Stabilization Center tonight, I thank you. Perhaps you're connected in some way to someone who has a mental health condition or uses or misuses substances, or is often the case both. In my 25 years at MHA, I heard the struggles of family members who couldn't get the care they needed here in Putnam County. I listened to their frustrations. I dried their tears with words of comfort, and as an agency, we did our best to advocate for the care their loved ones deserved. I heard from many clients and family members about waits in the ER that couldn't be quantified in hours, they were quantified in days. I want to thank you for your comments, sir. I know clients whose proudest achievements are the length of time they have spent out of the hospital, doing anything in their power not to have to return there, seeing it as a personal defeat or weakness rather than a medical condition that requires proper treatment. If the Stabilization Center were for people with diabetes or heart disease, we wouldn't be here tonight. Those of you here tonight in opposition won't know until you need to know that there is no inpatient mental health care for youth in Putnam County. You have to go to Westchester. You won't know until you need to know that during the months of April through November, there's no shelter for individuals and families facing homelessness in Putnam County. You have to go to Danbury or Poughkeepsie. You won't know until you need to know who you will call or where you will go when someone you love tells you their depression is so bad they no longer want to live. We have one outpatient behavioral health center that serves adults and children regardless of ability to pay for both mental health and substance use services. I can guarantee they have a waiting list right now. Statistically speaking, 1 in 5 people are affected by a mental health condition at some point in their lives. We have 98,000 residents in Putnam County, which would be 19,600 people in our county. They are not those people. They are our neighbors, friends, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and children, as well as our veterans and first responders. I just wanted to add, as a comment to the remarks that the first speaker made about going to the hospital for care. I know personally of a veteran who was seen in our local hospital. The care they received there was not trauma-informed, and as a result of their mental health conditions, it resulted in them, out of fear, and out of anxiety, having an altercation with a staff member and also with a security member. So they went to the hospital to get care, and they left to go to the police department and be charged, with an offense that really was just as a result of their care not being trauma-informed. So. For decades, we've sent our residents out of the county to receive the care that they need. As a result, those counties are receiving funding because they are meeting our needs. Let's please stop pretending that Putnam County residents do not suffer from depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, substance use and misuse disorders, as well as post-traumatic stress. Let's stop the stigma that has made our loved ones feel invisible, unwelcomed, less desirable, unworthy, and alone. Please support the Stabilization Center. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Please state your name and write it down, please.
Good evening. My name is Carl Rohde. I'm the Director of Veteran Services for Putnam County. I'm a Veteran Service Officer, but I'm not here because I'm the Director of Veteran Services. I'm here because I'm a veteran diagnosed with PTSD. And we have a lot of veterans that are diagnosed with PTSD. And the reason the reason we need a stabilization center, for quite a few things that the last three speakers all said, but one thing that I want to emphasize, the vast majority of veterans are not with the VA healthcare system. They have no place to necessarily go. They don't have care. They don't have care. They have a problem, but they don't necessarily get care. The stabilization program, stabilization center to help them would be very valuable in one, getting the treatment they need, and perhaps getting them into the VA. The gentleman that Megan mentioned in her statement, he was also brought to this court here in the town of Carmel, and he told the judge that he would go to the VA, and the judge released him on his own, thinking that he was going to go down to the VA. He never made it down to Montrose. So this is a very serious situation that we have with veterans. If we could get a veteran, you remember 22 veterans a day are taking their own lives, which is a horrible number. But if we had someplace where a veteran that's in crisis could go, sit, and sometimes it's just sitting in a room, talking with a peer, getting them to calm down. And a lot of times, the veteran can go home. But if he doesn't have a place like that, he may never be able to go home. So please support this program. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Please. State your name and sign in, please.
Good evening. My name is Marlena Barrett, and I'm the director at the Putnam County Office for Senior Resources. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today about the importance of establishing a stabilization center here in Putnam County, a resource that will serve individuals of all ages, including our older adult population, who often face unique challenges related to mental health and emotional well-being. When I mentioned to others that I would be speaking at this public hearing, many were surprised. They have never considered the mental health needs of older adults. Most people tend to associate older adults' care with more traditional medical concerns, such as visits to the cardiologist or physical therapy after a fall. They're often shocked to learn that older adults are represented in our county's death by suicide statistics. In 2023, 6 out of 15 deaths by suicide in Putnam County were among older adults. In 2024, 4 out of 11. And as of July 1st of this year, 1 out of 4. These numbers reveal a difficult truth, that feelings of isolation, grief, life transitions, and declining physical health can have a profound toll. Yet these struggles often go unnoticed or unspoken. Let us also recognize that these numbers are not just statistics. They are our neighbors, parents, grandparents, and friends. A stabilization center offers a compassionate, voluntary alternative to emergency rooms and law enforcement involvement for those experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis. It provides a safe, supportive, and non-judgmental environment where individuals can be evaluated, connected to services, and guided towards recovery resources. For older adults, this could mean immediate access to counseling, peer support, and community follow-up, all critical to preventing crises from escalating. Locally, there has been a tremendous success shown with the Stabilization Center in Dutchess County, which serves as a model for what can be achieved. There have been no safety incidents in the surrounding neighborhood since it has opened in 2017, and the center has become a valued community resource, reducing the strain on hospitals and the police departments while improving the outcomes for residents in need. This is not just a mental health initiative. This is an investment in the health, safety, and dignity of our entire community. Older adults in particular, who make up 27% of the county's population, deserve to know that when they are struggling, there is a place that they can turn in voluntarily, where they will be met with compassion, respect, and professional support. Just want to thank you for your time and for considering the importance of bringing this vital service to Putnam County. Thank you.
Other speakers, please?
Evening. Scott Seaman of Town of Southeast.
Please speak into the microphone.
Sorry. Don't like these things. Scott Seaman, Town of Southeast. First, I'd like to thank the board for putting this up and for giving the community an opportunity to speak out. I've been following this for years, and it has been a struggle to get this to where we are today. I also have some experience from being on the school board in Brewster. I'm not here to speak for them. I'm here to speak of our experience with our youth. Also, I'm a father of 2 children that graduated during COVID. These children are young men and women have been under struggle for years, and even before COVID. This kind of facility, to be blunt, will save lives. It gives opportunities for people who have nothing else to do, for parents that are lost, for grandparents raising children that don't know what to do. This will give them the opportunity. As I've heard us as well, our veterans struggle. We've always been a community that supports our veterans. This is another resource for them. We have a large percentage of senior citizens in this county. This is another thing that will greatly support them. So if there's anything that you can do to support this type of operation, this is nothing but a win. And even if it just affects one life, it's one life that's saved. It's one person that's drawn back from the edge. So I just would appreciate your concern and for listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sarah Levin. I grew up in Brewster and now live in Carmel, and I actually work in Brewster, and I work with youth. And I just wanted to come up here to also highlight the importance for the youth. We've heard a lot of other populations that are in need, and our youth here in Putnam County as well. We are lacking in services and support for these children and places for them to turn to and for their parents to turn to. You would all be probably surprised the amount of suicide assessments that happen on a daily basis in the school, often which we need to send out to. So I am also really in support of this and getting more resources for all our populations, from childhood to elderly. Thank you.
Thank you. Other people that wish to speak?
Kevin Byrne, I happen to be the Putnam County Executive, but also proud resident of the town of Carmel. For those of you that don't know, and folks in the audience, my first real introduction into public office was as a member of the town planning board, because I grew up in Putnam Valley in the Carmel School District. And I want to thank you for all that you do. I respect local government. It's where a lot of important decisions are made. You need to measure the balance on how these decisions are made, not just for the one property owner, but neighbors, and very much appreciate all that you do. You've heard some really important and compelling remarks already. The thing that I'd like to highlight is that lots of focus gets on public health. Mental health is part of public health, and mental health matters. It's not fair to do a public health assessment without looking at all those other social determinants. We focus on a lot of things in county government, whether it's public transportation, but mental health has always been one of those underlying needs, outstanding needs that Putnam County needs to address. The Stabilization Center, and I know many of you know this, there's been updates regularly to the legislature at public meetings. They talked about the location, prospective location of the site. But the history of this project really started with my predecessor, another Carmel resident, Mary Ellen Odell, and the legislature, when they dedicated $2.5 million of American Rescue Plan Act funding to start a stabilization center right here in Putnam County. It's because they acknowledged and understood that there was a need here in Putnam, and I absolutely agree with them. We have followed through on that commitment. This project is People USA's, because it's the startup funding from the county with that federal stimulus dollars. But ultimately, it will be self-sufficient. But the county, make no mistake, is a partner in this, and it's because we recognize all of those issues and that mental health matters. We also recognize that there is a lot of support throughout the community. We're prepared to give this to the Secretary of the Planning Board, but as recently as today, I have letters of support that we've obtained from the school superintendents, from the Brewster Central School District, the Carmel Central School District, and the Mahopac Central School District. And I'm sure they don't do this lightly to stick their necks out on something that some people may be misinformed about because of their experience with other facilities. This is really unique. I view it as a place where people can get help at that earlier stages so they don't get into a point where they have to go to the emergency department. To fill that gap in service. One of the most startling statistics that I've heard from People USA when we have talked about this from the very beginning is the measurements of their clients, the people that they help during the school year. During the school year in Dutchess County Stabilization Center, over 50% of their clients are children under 18 years old. Now, that's because that need's probably always existed, but I certainly think COVID lockdowns, isolation, which have led to anxiety. I would probably attribute some of this to the legalization of marijuana. But the reality is, all of these factors, at the end of the day, people have health needs. We need to meet them before they become really serious problems. We have an opportunity to do something really good here. I live in the town of Carmel. We have our our social services, mental health and youth bureau commissioner here. We have our director of mental health here. They're both Carmel residents. I want to thank all the speakers that already came up. John Borges, he's a pretty modest guy. The guy's also NYPD veteran and a military veteran. They have an immense amount of experience. Lots of them are residents here. We need this in Putnam County, and I hope you're part of the solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. Any other people that wish to speak?
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Susan Salamone. This is my husband, Steve, and we are the founders of Drug Crisis in Our Backyard. We are a Putnam organization that was started when we lost our son, Justin, to a heroin overdose in 2012. We wish at that time that people didn't have the feeling that people that were using drugs were junkies or addicts. And 13 years later, it seems like we can open our doors to people that are struggling with mental health problems and substance use disorders. I wish there was something like this when my son was going through his addiction, which lasted a long time, and we lived with it with our 3 younger children. And we work with families now that are struggling with addiction. And just last Friday night, I got a call from a parent who was looking for some place to send his son for detox. And that is never easy on a Friday night at 5 o'clock because nobody's answering the phone. So a stabilization center is just what we need for parents that need to get their loved ones into treatment when there's nowhere else to send them.
And I'd like to add to that. Well, a lot of people have said this, that it's our neighbors, our family members, our sons, our daughters, our parents. I can't emphasize that enough. The people that are going to be taking advantage of these services are our neighbors. There are people in this community, and a lot of them are living under the radar because they're embarrassed or there's no place to go and there's no empathy for them. So we need to reach out, the community needs to reach out to these people and give them some place to go.
Thank you, thank you. Please sign in. Come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Margarita Maldonado. I'm the Executive Director of Arms Acres, and I'm here in support of the Stabilization Crisis Center. I did some research, and for the last 6 months, I've received calls at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning from Putnam Valley residents, from Carmel residents, from Mahopac residents, looking for help. I do pick up my phone. Sometimes I can admit somebody who is, severely struggling at that time in crisis. I have had to call the Dutchess County Stabilization Center, and I have begged them to take this patient in until I can bring them in the morning. They have always opened their doors to our residents. I am a Brewster County resident. Excuse me, I'm a bit nervous. And I've been living here for the past 3 years. I have worked at Arms Acres for the last 8, and this is a passion of mine, helping people get better. I think that if we do support the Stabilization Center, I pledge to help People's USA to do whatever I can to assist the people of Putnam County to make them, to give them a pathway to recovery. So I hope this does work, because I pledge to commit to all of you. Thank you.
Other people that wish to be heard tonight?
Good evening, members of the Planning Board. Thank you very much. My name is Ashley Brody. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Search for Change. My agency provides a variety of services in both Westchester and Putnam counties. We provide a great deal of housing for upwards of 100 people who are living in our community. They are our friends, they're our neighbors, they're our employees. We provide other services as well. And as the first speaker of the evening so eloquently shared, people who are living with mental health conditions, substance use disorders, are making their way through life much as all of us are. And as I think the testimony of that gentleman shared, they are living, they're working, they're flourishing in their recovery, and periodically they need some more support and may experience an emergency, much as one might experience an emergency with a cardiac condition or a diabetic condition. In my capacity as the director of my agency, I've been in the unenviable position of trying to find emergency services for people when they are in that mode of needing some additional support. It doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, it can be quite traumatic. And as others have shared, hospitals, though essential, are not an ideal environment for people who are in mental health crises. What we learned through the Stabilization Center in Dutchess County and through similar models across the country is that it really provides a very humane alternative for people who are in that state, and a very safe environment, and one that is really conducive to recovery and helping people to get back on their feet rather quickly. As our county executive shared as well, it also happens to be extraordinarily cost effective for those of us who work in social services. We're led by our hearts, of course, and that's our calling, but we can't ignore the fact that we're in the midst of a healthcare crisis and that healthcare expenses have become just that, quite expensive. So there's so many different ways in which this project, this initiative is bound to be a boon for our community. We've seen it happen in Dutchess County and elsewhere, and I know from my personal and professional experience that it has so much to offer. So I want to thank you as well. I certainly urge you to support this initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Christopher Rumsey. I'm the patient care director of for the inpatient unit over at Putnam Hospital. I just want to speak out for the Stabilization Center. From what I see every day, sometimes parents struggle. We're really not well equipped to handle children. Sometimes people come in, they really don't know what to do, and I'm really don't think the emergency room is a proper place for them at that time. As a doctor-prepared nurse, I'm very big on early intervention, and especially for this particular community. I think they're very much underserved, and I think this would be a great initiative to make sure they get the help they need, good help that they need immediately, not just brought to our emergency room in the crisis, and sometimes brought into our emergency room when they don't even need, when that's not really the proper channel. They need good trained professionals, and I think this is a wonderful initiative that should be supported. And I just want to be heard tonight and to say that is very important to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Todd Matthews. I've been a resident in Brewster for almost 20 years. Former vice president of privacy and data governance at Western Union, currently executive pastor and a NAMI Putnam board member. A lot of support here from that organization as well. I wanted to speak out on behalf of the community and the churches and what I see in the people and the families and the children especially, and even more so, single parents who are alone at home dealing with mental crisis issues outside of normal hours, and with the fear and the sort of stigma of being alone and not knowing where to get help, and then reaching out and finding that services are inadequate or not available or don't get the actual help they need. I've heard stories. I have personal experience with trying to get people into locations where if something is not imminent danger, support is not provided at a level of escalation that is required. At wee hours of the night, the alone isolation and despair that parents face and their children in dealing with issues is heartbreaking and needs a solution. This is a doorway to something very needed in our community and for our families. And I just wanted to come out and give some support from another perspective, that this is something very good and very needed. So I just please ask you to consider that and support this.
Thank you. Anyone else we should be heard tonight?
Good evening, Board. My name is John Haggerty. I'm a senior counselor at St. Christopher's Inn. As we've heard from many people, there's a lot of pain in these communities. There's a lot of need for this sort of work. I happen to be in a position where I get to work with, for me, men every day. However, there are many men and women and children who never get those services. And what this would be is a bridge to that. The first gentleman, thank you very much for speaking, spoke about it being a step. Yes, nothing good happens at 2 a.m., absolutely. There's a lot of crying out at 2 a.m. for help. And unfortunately, what they usually hear is, deal with it tomorrow, or they're not heard, or they're sent to the hospital. Often that does not result in them receiving the need that the services that they need. Someone from Arms Acres spoke a few minutes ago. We have some really good services in the county, but they're not always accessible when they're needed. So, this would be a wonderful, Search for Change spoke. I know my organization has worked with them on the latter half when guys leave treatment, right? But getting them into treatment and keeping them safe until they can get treatment, substance use, mental health. The families are suffering. Thank you, Suzanne. We had met before. There's a phenomenal need. Back in the 90s, I got to work with adolescents for a number of years. And I got the privilege of watching these kids change their lives. Never have to deal with this again. I was fortunate enough to work in a facility where they were able to get to college and start their life over. That is not the case for most people, and most people don't have that sort of experience that I had. That to be part of that, it's a gift, right? But we do have thousands, if not tens of thousands, of people in our community who are suffering and don't know where to go. There's a very, very small window when someone's willing to ask for help, and the fact that we're not there as much as we could be to answer that really is a sin. It's a shame. we're losing our children, we're losing our adults, we're losing our vets. We're losing the resource that makes a community. So I really hope that you guys can help push this through, and the rest of the community can help push this through, because it's absolutely a wonderful incentive. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Pastor Jennifer Boyd from Trinity Lutheran Church, right on the edge of Brewster, Carmel. I wasn't planning to speak, but you know, I'm a pastor. We can't keep our mouths shut. But I'm also blessed to work with the Suicide Prevention Task Force for a number of years now. I don't remember how long I've been with them, but to see the ways in which this county works together, but is also so stretched thin with the care and compassion that they are able to do. So I won't speak to what they do because they do it so much better than I do, but it does strengthen our community. When folks are being cared for, when they're getting the help that they need, it just makes our whole community stronger. And I've been blessed to be a part of this, to work as a pastor in this county for 15 years now, and have just continued to marvel and feel so blessed by the ways in which everyone works together so well with the care and compassion that we need. And so this Crisis Stabilization Center, I think it will be quite literally a godsend, and is not only so needed, but it will strengthen our community as a whole.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you all for speaking tonight. Any comments from the board?
I just have one question. Would this be mainly for people in Putnam, New York, Connecticut? I mean, does it go outside of the area, or is it mainly Putnam County?
Use the microphone, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Mainly Putnam County.
Mainly Putnam County because
Yes.
you're located here, or, I mean, you wouldn't turn down someone from...
We're not going to turn anyone away, but
Right.
Dutchess, we get very few people from outside. It's mostly Dutchess people.
We received, did you receive the letter from the police department recently?
Yes, I did.
And there was, for those who have not seen it, there was a discrepancy in numbers. I don't have it in front of me right now,
Yeah.
but I did read it. Any
Yeah,
response?
yeah, we went through that with the county, and the building, just so you understand, has a wellness center, which is a recovery center for people with substance use on the one side. It's got a partial hospitalization, which is now an intensive outpatient treatment program there too. And it has ITAP, which is a mandated, court-appointed drug rehab program. Those calls, everyone calls it the stabilization center, but it's 230 North Road where a lot of those calls go to. And most of those calls are there. Our calls are very few. Over 2 years, I think we had 50. Yeah, I'm going to have her speak to the numbers because they make more sense.
So I'm Charles Spencer Frost. I am the Identified Program Director for the center. And I also oversee the mobile crisis team as well as do data for People USA. So the file that I know you had received from Carmel Police Department that included the calls to 230 North Road. We received from Dutchess County, the operations department from 230 North Road, a matching spreadsheet with all of the calls, with the same number of calls, that were broken down by whether it was actually a stabilization center call or it was for another part of the building for the Department of Mental Health. So the number of calls from January of 2024 through September 1st of 2025 that were identified as stabilization center calls was 155. Of those calls, there was a very high percentage of the calls that were EMS responses for non-urgent medical matters. Or voluntary transports to the hospital. And in Putnam County, we will not necessarily have a need for those EMS responses because we will have other options for the transportation to Putnam Hospital for non-emergency matters. that we do not have in Dutchess County, because we also do operate the mobile crisis team, and we'll be able to utilize that as transportation for non-medical emergencies to Putnam Hospital. In addition to a large number of calls, there are a number of calls for police assistance, and at times that is part of an EMS response, because the Dutchess Center will call for an ambulance, because that's the only way that we have to transport somebody to the hospital in Dutchess at the moment, when they don't have resources or family members to transport them. And I don't have the number of calls in my head for the police assistance right now, but the total of 155 calls that were identified to the stabilization center, which includes police assistance and the EMS calls, averages to about 8 calls a month to the stabilization center. And we know that the population in Putnam County is just over 30% of the population in Dutchess County. So that would average, even including EMS calls, which we will not need to have in Putnam County for those non-emergency matters, that would in total, if we're matching Dutchess calls, would be about 3 calls a month.
Okay. So the letter just came in a couple of days ago, right?
Yes.
So it'd be very disrespectful for me not to at least ask you to close it out with our chief of police office. So maybe you can meet with them and satisfy, make sure you're on the same page. Right now, it's kind of apples and oranges.
Yeah.
I totally hear what you're saying. I believe what you're saying. He's not here, he hasn't heard it. So you need to meet with him and close any discrepancies.
Rebecca Volk, Law Office of Rebecca Volk, representing People USA. I think one of the points I want to make is that there's also the assumption that that is going to be new calls. But as we've heard so much this evening, these are individuals from your community. So it's really a matter of, instead of the calls being from someone's home or from some other location, they're going to be at the stabilization center. So while it's not necessarily that there won't be a call that maybe might not have been made that night, we just note that I think it's incorrect to assume that this is all new calls that are going to be coming to the police. And we're more than happy to sit down.
And I'm happy to meet with you and the chief. I mean, if it helps anything, and,
And we're pleased that the, I believe it was the town of Poughkeepsie, spoke with the town of Carmel Police, indicating their pleasure with our facility in Dutchess County.
So, Pat, can we prepare a resolution?
Close the public hearing and we can directly prepare.
And we can do things in parallel, maybe like that, all right?
Yeah,
So,
so 2 weeks, if you can reach out to the police within 2 weeks.
Sure.
We can get this taken care of.
all right, so we can close the public hearing, prepare a resolution while you meet with the, and assuming you'll do that in the next 2 weeks. And again, I'm happy to join you if it helps.
Okay.
Great.
One question, is it wise to close the hearing rather than keep it open?
I think we've heard everything we're gonna hear, and there's tremendous support. Pat, what do you?
So if there's anything, we're talking about the issue at hand is the operational aspects of the plan. We would not change the site plan in any way. So I think we're in good shape to close the public hearing. Nothing the police chief says, or you guys say, we change the site plan.
It starts a clock though, right?
It can start a clock, no doubt about it.
Oh, good point. But we won't go any further until, we'll prepare the resolution, but we'll hold it until there's clarity with the police department. Yeah,
Sure, thank you.
but fair point, Bob. But in this case, we might be able to save a little time too.
Thank you.
I'm assuming that we'll be able to clear things up with the police.
Yeah, we will.
So pending that.
Thoughts from the board?
No, I just wanted to thank you all for your passion, and especially for the first gentleman who spoke, sharing your personal story. It really is very moving. And, we've heard everybody and the support that you've got, and we know what we need to do. So we just want to make sure we do it in the right way. But thank you again for showing up and supporting this initiative.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else on the board? No, if anybody else on the board?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
All right, Mr. Chairman, with that, I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And Pat, will you prepare a resolution? Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody, thank you for coming out tonight. No.
I would have prepared something. I didn't know I could speak, so I didn't have anything to say there.
I would ask everyone to please exit as quick as possible.
Do you understand? Do you remember me? How are you?
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be aware, we're still in a meeting and we have more items on the agenda. Thank you.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have more items on the agenda, please. Thank you.
Did not see one.
No. Okay, next on the agenda. Centennial Golf Course, 185 John Simpson Road for amended site plan. Centennial Golf Townhomes, 185 John Simpson Road, amended site plan. Centennial Golf Course, 185 John Simpson Road, lot line adjustment. All for a public hearing?
Hey, I'm Chris Laporta with Pastro Engineering. Rich was just checking to see if the HDMI cord is available. We had a brief presentation. If it's not ready, I could just present the materials. I could probably put my screen up here so anyone that wants to see, I've got the laptop.
We'll give Rich a
there.
minute so you can use that screen if so. If anyone needs to take a break, they can.
Hey, Rich, do we have a board? Waiting for Vincent to try to get one right now. He's pulling one off another piece of machinery. I will bring it down when I have a chance.
Well, is Michael Festo, 52 Crafts Road here? Yes. Why don't we just give you a few more minutes? Come on, Jack.
Here we go, Jack.
Mike, did you have any comments on 52 Craft Road?
I do not. This is on for public hearing.
Correct. Rich, no comment, public hearing?
Well, this is on for public hearing. Still waiting for a summary report on the soils. Jack has given me bits and pieces of it, just waiting for a full one to come through. Based on what I've seen, from what Jack has said, but without actually reviewing anything, it looks like all the soils were below any thresholds for New York State DEC requirements. However, a full report was not provided.
And Pat?
And per your direction, Mr. Chairman, you do have an approval resolution before you. There is a condition in it that the applicant shall certify that all the imported material is clean. So you can either wait for Rich to confirm what Jack has submitted, or that condition covers it, and Jack's stamp and license is on the line, certifying.
So Jack, how do you respond to Richmond? Is no.
I've provided information from, soil that my client, the Festo has placed is a minor amount of soil, 80 cubic yards of soil. And I provided the soil sampling analysis that was, the soil came from the Mercedes site down in Lewisboro, and it came from a wooded area, all right? And there's a soil sampling analysis that was done by Phoenix Labs, okay?
I think he's just asking for the summary.
The summary is,
No, but you got to write the summary with your letterhead, Jack. That's all he's asking
No,
for.
I
I
have
think.
it.
So,
I
you know,
submitted-
so here's what happened. Jack did give an analytical report, 25 pages. I'm not sitting through 25 pages. That's Jack's job to do. I need a report that is signed and sealed by Jack that gives us the whole picture of what went on. So yes, he did send an email that said, he actually dropped off the data, hard copy. He sent an email saying, here's how it compares to state regulations. He sent another email saying this, I'm not collating the documents, I'm not putting them together. It is up to him to do that and provide a report that is signed and sealed, which I still don't have. The report was there in a Word document, but not provided as a hard copy to the town of Carmel, 2 rows, to the planning department. That's what we're talking about. So, yeah. What's that?
It's got to be stamped.
It's got to be signed and sealed, you know, I mean, yeah, so it was
right
gotten
here,
to-
it's
yeah.
signed and sealed, and I submitted it to Rich, and I submitted it to Rose. And the
Now,
analysis.
Rich doesn't have that, or Rich does have that?
Jack, I don't know when you submitted that, but there was no hard
Well,
copy
you didn't
provided.
check your emails, Rich, because I sent it to you. This is the,
When did you send it to him?
over the last 2 weeks. This is the part of the report. This is the rest of the report. There's
Let me
like-
interrupt. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to be heard on this?
Yeah, there is a public hearing.
Please, come up and speak. State your name.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Bailey, and our property borders everything that's been done up there, all the excavating, all of the soil delivery, the truckloads, the backhoes, everything that had to be done. And there's a pile of dirt still left, and we were wondering if that's not the only one that's going to be tested, because the dirt that was delivered, that was put into the ground, and that was, there was a big tree there, that the big stump is still there, but the roots came out of the ground, and then they filled the hole with numerous trucks of dirt. So we just wanted to make sure that the soil was tested, that was in the ground there. The stream goes down that property into our property, and it is city, I believe that is watershed or city stream. And we just wanted to make sure that the soil there, and that also the excavating would just be in that area, because the other side of the stream, years back, they did have numerous rocks delivered and had moved some of the rocks that were on and the slabs that were on top of the stream, and that caused the stream water, which has been very dry now, so it hasn't caused a problem. But in the winter and the spring, the water, if those rocks and all that is moved, it comes down the other side of our property where our well is and our neighbor's property.
So
we
Jack, is the, all the fill that was brought onto that site from the one Mercedes location?
That the Festos put on that property, it's 80 yards.
Is it all
And
from
if
one
you s-
location at Mercedes?
All of it was, but you can see that there's a date on these aerial photos. One is from March 22nd, 2024. That fill was placed by the previous owner of this property, and that was a large amount of fill. You can see from the,
Now, where are we on testing that?
we didn't, I don't think my client is responsible for testing the fill that was placed by a previous owner. I mean, we tested.
He bought the property. It's his property. He's responsible for doing it.
Not for something that happened before.
He bought the property.
I would think that he is, Pat. I mean, it's like pre-existing, but when you add to something, this isn't a.
Require a contaminated site, you require the contamination.
Right.
When did it, wait a second, when was the first fill placed?
When was the first fill placed?
Yeah,
We don't know.
by the previous owner, I'm saying. Do
Yeah,
you,
it was
you
by
have,
the
you don't have any
previous owner.
photos?
The photo says March 24.
That was just the aerial photo, though.
The reason I'm asking is prior to a certain date, we didn't require if you weren't regrading. So if you just had some potholes on level spots and you leveled it, there was no requirement back in the day to do it. That could be I'm just asking because if you have a date, I could look up the dates when we started.
I do know that the soil that came from wherever they're saying Mercedes property was started, delivered December 19th, 24, and then again on December 30th. There were numerous truckloads of dirt delivered. The March before, I don't even remember any holes in dirt or whatever he did. He might have graded, who knows? But now, I believe that's probably all covered up or whatever. But what was happening was all the dirt was coming over the rocks, going into the stream, and we were afraid that it would, block the stream and make it divert to a different direction. So a fencing was put up by this new owner of some sort of plastic or black to keep it from coming down. So the dirt was delivered for a large area because it was coming down in all different directions.
I'm talking about many years ago, there was dirt that was brought in, and that's what we were saying. At that time, if they weren't required to do anything, going backwards, right? I mean, we don't generally make people go backwards for older fill.
The question is, so for a permit, they would not have needed a permit. If the fill is contaminated, however, that's a different story.
So if the board wants a few samples here and there, ask for it. You can do that.
I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't do that. I'll defer to the board, but I don't know why we wouldn't do that.
But just to clarify, the Festos bought this property on October 24th, 2024. I mean, we dug test holes in that area, and it's rock and dirt that was previously there. Like, you can see the
Previously there, but we don't know if it's contaminated or not.
Correct. If the board's uncomfortable and they ask you to do two or three more spot tests, you do the 2 or 3 more spot tests. I mean, they're going to ask for it.
These analyses are $1,000 a piece. If you want to do,
Contaminated soil would cost the neighborhood more than $1,000.
well, I mean, if you want us to do hey, Rich, you
Yes,
want us
Jack.
to do another Part 375 analysis of the soils below?
It's really the board who's asking that question. If that's what they want, then yes. You just indicated that you did soil boring tests. Again, I don't remember seeing that map. It doesn't mean you didn't provide, so what did you do that
No,
testing for?
They dug the holes for me to examine, and I examined it, and it seems like it's perfectly clean soil.
Is it mapped?
What's that?
Did you map the location of where you did these borings?
No, we just.
Is
dug
there a
couple-
report that
dug a
came from
couple-
it?
Huh?
Is there a report that you went out and looked at these samples? That you looked at the holes?
I looked at the holes.
Is there a report?
No.
Okay.
No, I can give you a report.
So
I think the board is going to tell you what you're going to do next.
Bob, you have anything to say? John, do you have anything to say?
No,
Anybody else?
I think we should test it.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable moving forward on 2 issues. I mean, first of all, this other dirt, I think, needs to be tested, and second of all, I don't feel comfortable moving forward with the resolution until, we have the report signed by you. And there seems to be some discrepancy as to whether or not they were sent, but it's something that needs to be resolved before I would feel comfortable moving forward.
All right, well, if you want us to do one sample of the soil, and you want to witness it with me,
We could talk about that. I think at least 2, because you had a bigger area that was done. You had the driveway area then on the other side. So at least 2 samples would need to be done.
okay. If that's what the board requests,
I
that's
think
what
it's
we'll do.
unanimous, the board feels that way.
2 samples of the previous fill and a satisfactory report.
For the fill that came from the Mercedes, which is in
Before
piecemeal
we do
given to
anything.
me, yes.
That's my opinion.
Thank you, Jack.
Okay, thank you.
Centennial, do you have everything you need?
Yep, we're all set now.
Okay. So, I know we're here for a public hearing, but why don't I open,
Can you close the public hearing that we just had?
I think we're gonna leave it open. We're gonna, let's leave it open. There's no rush. I mean, this is ongoing for quite a while now.
If all the reports come in, we can close the public hearing at that point, move forward at the next meeting, or the meeting after that.
You're welcome. I'm aware we're here for public hearing. Can you give an overview of your project? It might answer a lot of questions, or?
Yeah, certainly. We prepared a PowerPoint to give a brief overview of the project for the public, and I could jump right into that if you'd like.
Yeah, if you don't want the people on television watching, so please speak into the microphone.
Surely.
That's what we're doing. Thank you.
All right, so the project, the Centennial Townhomes project, it's actually 3 applications here in front of the planning board. One is for the townhome project, which is on the Centennial property along the frontage of John Simpson and Fair Street. The proposal is a 60-unit townhome community, which would be located at the corner there, and that location is where the current parking lot is for the Centennial Golf Course. So what we'll be doing is relocating the parking lot as shown on the left side. That's actually in the town of Southeast, and we'll be relocating the parking, reconfiguring it, doing new lighting, new stormwater, everything for it there, and slightly adjusting one of the holes on the golf course. There we go.
I have a question. Will that house be taken down that's on that site there?
What's that?
The house that's right there adjacent to that, where you're gonna move the parking lot?
Oh, no, the house is going to stay.
That's
We
gonna stay
avoided
there.
the house, yep. I think I have another plan that's a little more zoomed in coming up. This here is what we created. It was kind of a project roadmap because this project required approvals in 2 towns, and it's 3 different applications. I did get a little ahead of myself, but this slide illustrates it here. There's, besides the townhome application, there's a separate application for the parking lot, which is in the town of Southeast. And the third is a lot line revision. The parcels for the project already exist, but we had to reshape them in order to accommodate the townhome layout. So as such, we also needed to get 4 zoning variances through the town of Carmel, which we've obtained all 4 of those variances, and well, prior to that, we got our seeker approval. So we went through the seeker process. We're referred over to the zoning board. We got the 4 variances for the separation between the units, the distance to the property line. We had a 100-foot perimeter setback around the entire project, and we needed a variance on an internal property line adjacent to the golf clubhouse. So we've gotten all 4 of those. We went to the town of Southeast, had our public hearings there. We got our final site plan approval over in Southeast, and then we've come back to Carmel again now to present the project to the public. The next slide here, I know it's incredibly hard to read at this scale on the screen, but this was something that we presented during the seeker process, and we used it to illustrate all the reports and summarize the findings of all the studies. So through the process here, we did extensive reports, everything from the fiscal analysis to the traffic, water and sewer, the SWIP report. We've done a number of technical studies here in collaboration with this board. We've worked through these studies and got them to a good place where this project was able to receive a negative declaration in January of 2025. Just highlighting a few key points, the traffic study was one of them that we did. We worked out the scope and the intersections to study. We studied 7 different intersections listed there, and we created a trip generation model. The traffic generation was, in the peak hours, it was around 30 trips. I actually might need to get my glasses checked. I can't read the chart from this distance, but I think it was 34 trips during the peak hour, and those are distributed between in and out, and from there they would separate, and there'd be a distribution. Some would go northbound or southbound at each intersection, so they further disperse from there. And the other study that I wanted to take a quick moment to highlight was our water and sewer report. So the property is located within the Carmel Water District 2 and Sewer District 2. We went through a process in the engineering report to look at all the capacities and went through the will serve process and obtained that letter. We also, in addition to the capacity analysis, we took a hard look and worked closely with the technical team here at the town and the consulting engineers at W&S and looked at the offsite capacities. So we did an extended flow monitoring where we put flow monitors in 3 of the sewer manholes in the collection system and created a model to project the flows and verify that we had adequate capacity in the collection system. And then on the water, we worked with the town and came up with a way that we could create a loop in the water system. So what the loop does, it's approximately 1,500-foot offsite extension, which is going to connect the water main back to a connection point at Hillendale Road, close to the intersection of Hillendale and Fair Street. And what that does, it provides redundancy in the water main. It helps the flow characteristics, and it also keeps the water well circulated, so you don't get stagnant water accumulating in the water main. We spent a lot of time coordinating that with the town and then with the county. Of course, Fair Street was just resurfaced not long ago, so we've been coordinating, and we came up with an alignment that most of the water main extension is going to follow a 30-foot easement, which is on the Centennial property, to avoid damaging the road. And furthermore, we're working out a proposal with the county, or not a proposal, more of a means and methods that will, we could do a directional bore to prevent doing a horizontal cut, an open cut across Fair Street. So that would really minimize the damage to Fair Street. And those horizontal cuts, those are the ones that if they recess, you get a bump in the road. So we're glad that we were able to find a way to prevent that. I had, one further point too, that we beyond the standard hydrants, we are providing dry hydrants to the golf course's ponds for this project, which will be available for the fire department. And in the event of a fire, if those are utilized, it would of course reduce any of the draw on the municipal system. I did want to add, the last time we presented here, I think that we discussed the fire department checking in one more time, so we did reach out to Chief Lipton. We sent him the plans up as a follow-up, and he did respond, and he re-reviewed the plans and asked if we could place one more fire hydrant in a specific location, and of course, we agreed to do that. This slide here illustrates some of the project benefits. It helps with the resiliency of the golf course. It's all of the 27 holes of golf are going to remain. I know long ago there were different options that we were looking at that could have potentially reduced the size of the golf course, but that's not in the picture now. So with this proposal, the golf course stays. It also, provides the infrastructure benefits that we discussed, and a lot of other benefits. Some of the key ones, I think, are some of the environmental benefits to the new parking lot is going to have all modern lighting. That lighting has been there for quite some time in the existing parking lot, so we're going to bring it all up to today's standards with dark sky compliant lighting. In addition, the stormwater regulations have changed a number of times since stormwater practices for the golf course were put in. So now we're going to be putting in stormwater practices that we've submitted to DEP for review, but early on we collaborated with the DEC and the DEP. We had a number of meetings, had them out for the field testing, and had the conversation. We said, what do you want to see for an approach for stormwater management here? And what they told us was we would love to see a stormwater wetland. So what we're proposing is a system that actually, due to the infiltration rates and the DEP rules, we had to have chained practices where we have kind of a double treatment system where first it'll go through a bioretention, then it'll flow into a stormwater wetland. So this project will, through the redevelopment, it'll upgrade all of the stormwater facilities to today's standards and be in my opinion, a great improvement. The stormwater facilities are located on the low-lying part of the site, which is in the wetland buffer area. That area, as exists today, is a manicured golf course.
Mm-hmm.
So we're improving the condition of the buffer by putting a stormwater wetland in the buffer.
Let me just pause you
Sure.
there. Okay, I'm not sure there's anyone from the audience here for this project tonight.
Right here.
Yes, other than, all right.
Okay.
Are you find this helpful?
There you go.
Why don't you go, let me ask you your questions and concerns, because I don't need the speaker to go this way when you're asking questions on that way. So let us know it's a public hearing. Please state your name and list.
Well, do you actually want me to express what my concerns
Yeah,
are at this
please.
point?
Mhm.
Do you want me to go up there?
Yeah. Please. I just didn't want the speaker to be speaking about things that might be irrelevant to you.
Okay, I think the presentation so far has been helpful.
Right.
But I'm willing to
Mhm.
express my concerns at this
This way
point.
they can respond. State your name, please.
That's great. Okay, so my name is Pat Sheehy. I live at 10 Hillside Place, which is right adjacent to the 9th hole. I've lived there for 44 years. I find the golf course to be a good neighbor. I don't have objection to the golf course, and I have to say, I come here tonight, I'm tired, I've had a difficult year, and I feel like every 3-4 years or so, it's a little bit like whack-a-mole. Housing on the Centennial Golf Course proposals are there again. And my own personal feeling about it is the town water and sewer here in Carmel is an attractive magnet for housing on the golf course. So when I came here, before I came, and like I said, I was kind of tired. I was debating whether or not I even wanted to step foot into this. So I thought to myself, am I really opposed to putting housing there? I don't know. I am opposed to, or I have concerns about the town water and sewer, the impact on our schools, and the traffic. And I wanted to know a little bit about the CEQA. And if you want to talk about divine intervention, I was sitting in the car because I got here early, and I just was looking at my cell phone, and somehow or another, I came up across the January 22nd CEQA negative declaration. And quite frankly, I was really surprised that there was a negative declaration. And I started to read through it. And item number 6, and I did this really quickly, states about water. It talks about the water supply and the groundwater. It doesn't address an impact on the water supply. It does say that there's no impact on the groundwater. Now, I think you all know that this is in Water District number 2. Water District Number 2 is facing a $27 million plant, which now is on the back burner while we're putting out another RFP for a new proposal. So we have to build a new water treatment plant. How a negative declaration could have been made on the CEQA process really is baffling to me. I mean, if we don't have enough capacity in our water treatment plant now, if we put in another 60 units, which they say will generate about 21,000 gallons of water per day, I don't know how that doesn't have an impact. And then as I looked at item number 10, and I don't understand this other than maybe it's just a typo, it states that the site is located off Seminary Hill Road. Okay? You're all on the planning board. I think you know where Seminary Hill Road is. It's nowhere near the golf course. Number 12 states that there's going to be no, and you know, I really took these notes very quickly, no significant impact on the visual impact. I think 60, and I was driving down that corner today looking at it, I think 60 townhouses right on that corner is going to have a visual impact. I mean, it's a pretty rural type of area. Driving past the golf course is quite beautiful. And then right at the end, you're going to be hit with 60 units. And then number 13 says that, oh, interesting. It says that water and sewer currently serve the site, okay? It's a parking lot. So it says it will not result in any significant adverse impact on the town sewer water. I find that sort of surprising too, because I don't think they're using sewer and water for the parking lot. And then 17 says that there'll be no human hazards. If it impacts our water availability, I think there is a human hazard, number one. And number two, I'm concerned about increased traffic. And I did read in the report, and the gentleman just stated it, I think I have some notes here, 21 or 24 in the morning and 31 in the afternoon. I'm not an expert, but 60 units probably means 120 cars or so. Most people are going to have 2 cars. So I guess they're planning on a lot of people staying home because generally to buy a townhouse in the town of Carmel, I would think you'd have to have a job, maybe happily retired like I am. But I think people are going to be coming and going. I think it's a gross underestimation of the amount of traffic that's going through there. So I would just say I'd like to see the CEQA process revisited and that negative declaration revisited too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to be heard? Would you like to respond to Pat's concerns? Specifically, traffic and water and sewer.
Surely, yeah. The traffic, the studies that we use are an industry standard. We're just not, coming up with numbers on what we think they're going to be. We use the guidance issued by the Institute for Transportation Engineers, the ITE trip generation protocols, and those are, they're the industry standard. They're used for many developments like this, and they're based on a large amount of studies that have been done on similar types of developments. And that is, that's the number that occurs during a peak hour. So, it's the timing of when people are coming in and out. And we, worked out what the peak hours were for the AM and PM periods. So
if someone went out at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m., that wouldn't show in the report?
yeah, we typically don't look at those periods because you're not going to have your peak traffic on the roads, and you're not.
No, I get it. I
gonna
just
have-
wanted to clarify.
Yep. Yep. So we study those specific periods when the roads are going to be in most congested situations. And, for the other items, I think we're mostly related to the water supply. We did do the water and sewer engineers report where we, verified the capacity. We worked with the town. We got the data from the plant, and, we plugged our numbers into the model. These properties are in the water and sewer district, so they've been, paying into the water and sewer district, which, helps contribute to the new plant and all of the infrastructure as well.
So am I correct that the current water plant, Plant 2, can supply water to these townhomes as it is today?
That's my understanding.
They've been in the water district for years and been
I'm
paying into
just
this
answering,
forever.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just explaining.
Yep.
They've been paying into it. It's not something new that all of a sudden they have to pay into. They've been paying the tax on it for multiple years.
Yep, I'm just answering the, yep.
The answer is yes, and part, so there's a lot of gyrations that went on with regards to water and sewer. I don't recall if we had a traffic study and then it was reviewed by our traffic consultant. We could talk about that next, but with regards to water, and to Ms. Sheehy's point, there was a $27 million plant that was identified. We did go out for that other study. They've come back with a $15 to $18 million plant, but in either case, the plant's going to be designed at the same capacity it is now, which is 1.1 million gallons per day, because that's the size of our wastewater treatment facility. We had independent outside consulting engineers review the engineers or the applicant's engineers' water and wastewater report so that it was done correctly. And we did a model of the water system, and the water system is more than capable of handling that. We have capacity within Lake Lenida. It's 50 years down the line when, if the rest of Carmel grows, that we might need to find an alternate water supply, but that's a different animal, and that's already taken into account. So currently, with this development and all the other developments, there's one on Seminary Hill Road with Carl Arbano and other work that is done. The board has looked at that. We have looked at it. Independent engineers have looked at it and assessed that capacity. To address the cost, as Chris has mentioned, that is, they're paying into it. So they're going to pay based on their ad valorem, like you would pay on your ad valorem, for the capital cost on that plant upgrade. So those 60 units will be assessed at that. So I'm just, there's all the other units coming up. We have Gateway Fairways. They're all going to be assessed. The work down near the hospital, they're all going to be assessed. There's a couple hundred units down there. They're all going to be assessed ad valorem and pay into the district and help keep that district with funds going forward, and there's sufficient water capacity for them. So
Thank you.
I hope that helps answer Ms. Sheehy's questions. Good.
Thank you. And as one final check, for our permits, we're going to be going to the Department of Health as well, so they'll have, one more look at this all too, and they would never allow a project that wouldn't work. So we've developed the reports, and we're pretty comfortable at this point.
Anyone else from the public wish to be heard? No, we need it. So let's take them one by one. This is Centennial Golf Course, 185 John Simpson Road, amended site plan. We would need a motion to close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close item number 6 on the agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And Pat, would you prepare a resolution?
Yes, sir.
Do we have to take into consideration the southeast approval? Because they can't,
It's a cart before the horse issue, so our approvals are conditioned. Our approvals are conditioned upon their approvals. Their approvals are conditioned upon our approvals.
but they have to have the parking lot built before we can let them take the parking lot out, or else we have to pull the CO.
Exactly right. So it's gonna be tied to this, Mike's work with the building permit and the CO. So there's complicated timing with respect to this, but obviously we can't not approve it.
That's not what I'm suggesting. I just want to make sure we're careful with our
Yeah,
timing.
it's all about timing.
Okay.
Yeah, but they can never be, the golf course can never be without a parking lot. in
That's
other words.
correct.
That's what Mike's
Sure.
concerned about. So we will ensure that that's the case by coordinating the timing of the.
And where is the status of the southeastern parking?
We're approved in Southeast.
We're approved, do we have documentation of such?
I have the resolution that I could send over.
Do we have it?
I don't think I've sent it to Carmel yet.
I was saying, I didn't know anything about it, that's why I'm
We
asking.
have-
Okay, and item number 7, Centennial Golf, Townhomes, 185 John Simpson Road, amended site plan, also, motion to close that public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on item number 7, Centennial Golf Townhomes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
8th on the agenda, Centennial Golf Course, 185 John Simpson Road, lot line adjustment. Do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on item 8.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Pat, we need a lot line, we need a resolution also. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're gonna skip ahead to, we did ninth on the.
TC Graphics, number 10.
Yes, TC Graphics, right?
Right, yep.
Next on the agenda, is item number 10, TC Graphics LLC, 893 Route 6.
I don't see him here. I don't think he came.
We'll have to hold that over.
Is anybody here for that, though? Meaning audience? I don't think so.
We didn't think so, that there was going to be anybody.
No. All right, we have 2 bond reductions, item number 11 and 12. Let's take them one at a time. G&F subdivision, Gateway and Fairway subdivision, lot 6, 2054 Route 6. Rich, we just need your comments on the bond returns.
I have some too, actually.
Okay, Mike, yeah.
I wanted to know which one is owned by Toll, because there's 2, and I get confused, so please.
Good evening, members of the
morning,
board. Keith Diorio, I live in Carmel, New York, and I work for Toll Brothers. Toll Brothers owns Lot 6. Par
That's
4
the first
Realty.
one?
I'm sorry?
That's the first one we're
That's
doing?
the first
Okay,
one, yes.
then go ahead, that's fine.
This is on for a public hearing. I made my recommendation. I don't have that memo here in front of me. Or do I? No.
Anyone
Yeah,
anyone from the public wish to be heard?
What's the number of this? 50?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, as there are no public comments, I make a motion to close the public hearing on number 11, G and F subdivision.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Gateway and Fairway subdivision, lot number 7, 2054 Route 6, also for bond reduction. Anyone from the public wish to be heard?
I actually do. This is where I had my question. Did the owner of the lot know that we're doing this? Because we wouldn't notify the owner, only the people within X amount of feet of the lot.
I'm sorry, can I comment? We did know, excuse me, we did notify the owner, Mr.
Okay,
Carmonas.
that's
He's aware.
important, because it's to protect him, the town, and everybody, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
the important part of it.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really there to protect.
Absolutely. No, fair point.
Do we know that?
Did you give Rose proof that you notified the owner?
No, I didn't give her proof.
It's just that you wouldn't notify the owner, you notify everybody around within 500 feet. So in this case, you're doing work on the owner's property, so it's just something that I was thinking of. I'm like, does he even know?
It's a fair point. So can we condition it on him providing
Yeah.
an affidavit or whatever to Rose?
Okay. No problem.
It's just protection for the board.
So let's make a motion to close the
No,
public
he owns the
hearing.
property, so we don't hit that property.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on item 12, subject to that affidavit that we discussed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mike, good point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me guess, Knights of Columbus. So thank you for your patience tonight. Next on the agenda is Knights of Columbus, 10 Fair Street, site plan. Good evening.
Oh, thank you.
Huh.
I know, that's okay.
Mike, any comments on the Knights of Columbus?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Rich?
All comments have been addressed, and they are here for a public hearing.
And Pat?
Ditto, Mr. Chairman, no comments. We're here for public hearing.
Anyone from the public wish to be heard on this?
Since I'm here, might as well. This is gonna hurt. The seat of the county is in the
Please
hamlet of
state your
Carmel.
name.
Kevin Byrne, Putnam County Executive. The seat of the county is in the hamlet of Carmel, beautiful hamlet of Carmel. And one of our great neighbors is the Knights of Columbus, and very supportive. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for Knights of Columbus, 10 Fair Street, site plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you, sir. And ma'am. Have a wonderful evening.
And last but not least tonight, 355 Huguenot, 85 Glenita Avenue, public hearing. Yes, 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 Pat, Pat will prepare a resolution for that.
I think you guys were, I think you
ran a
resolution in conjunction with this meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is anyone here for 85 Glenita?
Yes.
Oh, Huguenot, Inc., yep. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on this?
Mr. Chairman, being there's no public comment, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Likewise, can we have resolutions for the 22nd?
Yeah, we can do that.
Adam, I still had a couple of comments here, like a water sewer use report, so just provide that for the record.
We did provide a report, but I
Did you?
can.
All right,
yeah.
let's double check.
I can send
My
it
comment-
again.
It's my comment from last time, so.
Yeah, no problem. If you don't have it, I can get it to you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Get it within 2 weeks so that we'll have the resolution ready. Okay.
Yeah, he'll be good.
Rose distributed minutes from September 11th,
That's a minor comment.
2025.
I provided minor comments to Rose. I propose approving the minutes subject to those comments.
Second subject to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.